All right, shalom, shalom, everybody. Ashar Shabbat. Most high willing, everybody's feeling well in the spirit, having a beautiful Shabbat, getting rest, continuing to do all they can to pray, fast, meditate, all that they can to endure in these last days as the days wax worse and worse. We're back at it again with another Shabbat class. This one, we definitely, of course, don't always consort to the Bible and pull a lot of precepts, but we're just gonna show, well, let me open with opening precepts. This is book of Colossians chapter 3, verse 17. And whatsoever ye do in word or deed, do all in the name of the Lord Yahweh Shai, giving thanks to the Most High and the Father by Him. So everything we do in word or deed, we do it all in the name of the Lord Yahweh Shai, giving thanks to the Most High God Yahweh. That's why we say, call Allah Yahweh by Shema Mashiach Wamalak Yahweh Shai. That's all honor and glory to the Most High God through His Son, who the world inwardly calls Jesus Christ. Right? Let's go to the book of Ephesians, chapter 4, and verse 11. And He gave some apostles, and some prophets, and some evangelists, and some pastors and teachers for the perfecting of the saints, for the work of the ministry, and for the edifying of the body of Yahushua. Right? Everything we do is for the perfecting of the saints, the work of the ministry, and the edifying of the body of Yahushua, which is the Israelites spread across the four corners of the earth, chiefly on the western side of the hemisphere, the so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans. And we do it that they may be perfected and beautified and prepared for the marriage, because we're commanded to be perfect. Right? So as I was saying, this class is really just going into this precept right here. Right? Let's go to the book of Hosea. Classic precept. Shalak. It's the book of Hosea, chapter 4 and verse 6. My people are destroyed for a lack of knowledge. Because thou hast rejected knowledge, I will also reject thee, that thou shalt be no priest to me. Seeing thou hast forgotten the law of thy power, I will also forget thy children. As they were increased, so they sinned against me. Therefore will I change their glory into shame. Right? This is really going into the lack of knowledge of our people, lack of understanding, lack of wisdom. Right? And because we don't have the wisdom, the knowledge, and the understanding of the Most High, we're going to see how destroyed, right, some of our people's minds actually are, right, and how far gone they actually are through the lack of wisdom and understanding, right? The perpetual worship of their oppressors, man. The mindset, right? They call it let me get another definition, right? Let me get a definition. I'm going to pull it up. Let me get it up here first. All right. And I'm going to let Jay Mike get in there if he had any points before we get started. Let me share my screen and pull up this definition. Right. So this is Stockholm syndrome. Is a physiological response where a hostage or abused victim develops positive feelings such as sympathy or affection toward their captor or abuser. Right. Our people have a high level of Stockholm syndrome, a very high level. Right. And when you don't have the wisdom, knowledge, and understanding of the Most High God, right, it's very easy to fall victim to that. Right. The Lord is very clear about us understanding who our enemy is. And our enemy is all the other nations. And we're not saying that we got to operate as if we're at war 24/7, but we have to be wise and understanding that the odds are against us. Let me get one more precept, the classic. Right. Man, I got a couple of them in my spirit, to be honest. Right. This is the book of Psalms, chapter 83 and verse 1. Keep not thou silence, O Yahweh. Hold not thy peace, and be not still, O Yahweh. For lo, thine enemies make a tumult, and they that hate thee have lifted up the head. Understand that we have enemies. They are the enemies of the Most High God, and they made a tumult. Let's get the definition of tumult, right? Right? The definition of tumult is a loud, confused noise, especially one caused by a large mass of people. Right? Let's get it's more definitions than that. Right? Another definition: a turbulent uprising, a riot. Right? Violent agitation of mind or feeling. Right? A turbulent uprising. So thine enemies have made a turbulent uprising. right? How do they make a turbulent uprising against us, right? They've caused a turbulent uprising by waging war against us, right? And they wage war against us because we are the children of the Most High God. And they've always envied us the same way they envied Adam. Let me get another precept through the Spirit, right? It's the book of Ezekiel, right? It's the book of Ezekiel. And I want, see, I think it's 31 I want. This is the book of Ezekiel, chapter 31, and verse 7. Thus was he fair in his greatness, and in the length of his branches, for his root was by great waters. The cedars in the garden of the Most High could not hide him. The fir trees were not like his boughs, and the chestnut trees were not like his branch, nor any tree in the garden of the Most High was like unto him and his beauty. That's Israel. No nation is beautiful like Israel. No nation has the law, statutes, and commandments like Israel. No nation has the power, the authority of having the one and true God like Israel, right? And because of that, it says what? I have made him fair by the multitude of his branches, so that all the trees of Edom that were in the garden of the Most High envied him. So all of them envy us. All of them hate us because they're not us, right? That's a saying in the world. They all envy us. And this is the reason why they make a tumult and rise up against us, right? We can read accounts of even in the book of Nehemiah and the book of Ezra, when they wanted to stop the building of the temple. What did they say? Hey, this nation, man, they can raise up, right? And then once they raise up and they fortify their walls, hey, we can't stop them. That's pretty much what they were saying, roughly paraphrasing, right? Why? Because they were scared of us. They never wanted us to go back to knowing who we are. They never wanted us to go back to serving our God. They never wanted us going back to returning unto our power, right? This is what our enemies have concocted against us. And because of that, we've been destroyed for knowledge, and they have planned a way to keep us from returning to our knowledge. And one of the main ways they've done it is by putting these men that we're about to show forth, they're them front and center before us, man. Right? Well, we think that the way that these men think are the way that we should think, and the way that we should think, which is righteous judgment of the Most High God, is off. Right? But you got it if you have any points, King.
Nah, just pertaining to what you were saying about the whole Stockholm syndrome, you know what I'm saying? But ultimately, every nation has had a hand in our destruction, but it's typically one nation that our people hang on to every word with, you know what I'm saying, who obviously is the ruler of this world, right? The nation that's the ruler of this world. But I'm gonna grab this real quick, classic. First Maccabees 2:10. What nation have not had a part in her kingdom and gotten of her spoils? And if you go up to verse 6, it's showing that it's talking about Judah or Jerusalem. So chiefly every nation, and I that's why we shoot so hard for equality. Like, we basically, not just for the white man, we don't have Stockholm syndrome for damn near every nation. You know what I'm saying? So we tend to like try to cleave to them and love them, when the Most High God said that we were set on high, right? That we are above these people, but that Stockholm syndrome just won't let us be great, right? It's a real thing. But you go ahead, go on with it.
So we got some clips, and some definitions and things of that nature we're gonna pull up, and then we're gonna tie everything with the precepts, Most High willing, right? For edification, because the title is "This Happens When You Have Not the Spirit." Not only does this happen when you have not the Spirit, hey, this can happen to you if the Lord takes you out the Spirit, man. You can go from being out rebuking and understanding who you are and knowing who your enemy is and serving the Most High God and being for your people, to instantly being just like this person we're gonna pull up, man. Having the same type of spirit if the Lord take the Spirit away from you, right? Right. Hey, Judas, man. Judas followed Yahushua, man. And then he aligned literally with the people that wanted to kill Yahushua, who happened to be the same race, right? Well, let's go ahead and share my screen. Get the first one pulled up. A lot of times we do these kind of videos, we never get through everything. Most High willing, we get through it. You know what I'm saying? Because there's a couple of clips on this, man, we're going to pull up, man. right? This is a pastor named Jesse Lee Peterson, right? Let's listen in.
Radio talk personality, TV host, extreme conservative, and he's proud of it. Pastor Jesse Lee Peterson, founder and president of Bond, B-O-N-D, and host of JLP Show and The Fallen State. Pastor Peterson, good day. Welcome to Indisputable.
Thank you for having me on. I appreciate it.
Sir, you all have a celebration coming up next month. Are you not the founder of White History Month, I think, which starts in July?
Yeah, we're going to be celebrating our 4th year of White History Month in July. And
this man said White History Month, man. Insane. He don't even know who he is. He don't even know. All right, I'm gonna let it play on.
And the reason that we started it in July is because if you notice, July just feels white.
Yeah.
You know, it's.
Oh, let me play it again.
July is because if you notice, July just feels white.
Yeah.
You know, it's summertime, vacation time, relaxing time, reflecting time, and appreciating the greatest country on this side of heaven.
Gotcha.
And so we are recognizing that and showing our appreciation for it.
I think it's important for people to know you're not a comedian. What you're saying, right? What you're saying, this is actually you. You do this. You did found. You're the founder of White History Month.
Yes.
You've also been very critical of Juneteenth. You have called it a fake holiday, but you are. You want to make sure that everyone supports White History Month.
Absolutely.
I do want to have a policy discussion with you about the George Floyd.
All right, let's deal with, before we go into the next topic, right? Let's deal with this White History Month, right? The mindset of this man who literally, I'm laughing because it's so there's nothing else. You can't even be mad. He's so destroyed, right? He's so out of there, right? White History Month, man, right? Let me get this precept, right? This is the book. That's what the Lord says about this, right? It's the book of Proverbs. And there's a lot of proverbs, a lot of wisdom on this type of behavior, man, right? It's the book of Proverbs, chapter 29 and verse 24. Whoso is partner with a thief hateth his own soul. He heareth cursing and bewrayeth it not, right? That man hates his own soul, man. Hey, he's partnering with a thief. He say July just feels white, man. What kind of stuff is that? That's madness. But literally, hey, when you're destroyed, when you have not the Spirit of the Lord, you're subjugated to fall victim to these type of spirits and these type of mind frames, man. July just feels white. He's damn partnered fully with a thief, right? And the Lord say you hate if your own soul, right? And you know, that partnership with a thief, let me get another precept to go along with why I believe he's doing it, right? I don't know, this is speculation, right? And it's lucky if I'm wrong, right? But this is what I believe, right? We'll get a few accounts. I'm gonna get this first one in First Maccabees in verse I'm gonna start at verse I'm gonna start at verse 17. Then answered the king's officers. First Maccabees 2 and verse 17. Then answered the king's officers and said to Mattathias on this wise, thou art a ruler and an honorable and great man in this city, and strengthened with the sons and brethren. Now therefore come thou first and fulfill the king's commandment, like as all the heathen have done. Yea, and the men of Judah also, and such remain in Jerusalem, so shalt thou and thy house be numbered of the king's friends. And thou and thy children shall be honored with silver and gold and many rewards. Right? So I believe he's doing this literally because he wants many rewards. Right? He wants to be the king's friend. And we know the king in modern day Egypt is the so-called white man and his government. He wants to be a friend. As we said, he's partnering with a thief, man. Right? And he hates his own soul. So he's ready to betray his people, betray his God, betray his understanding, right? Everything that everything that the Lord has given him, right? He's ready to betray it because what he wants to be the king's friend. He wants a friendship with the king, right? It's not because, he's not pulling out precepts and showing, well, this is why I'm doing it. From what I'm seeing from the scriptures, we should. No, it has nothing to do with that. This is him trying to fulfill his own vanity, man. The things that he wants out of life, right? The attention he wants to grab, the silver and gold he wants to touch. So now he has turned his back on his people, right, to become the king's friend, right? Let's go back. Let's go to 1 Maccabees, chapter 1, and verse 11. In those days went there out of Israel wicked men who persuaded many, saying, let us go and make a covenant with the heathen that are round about us. For since we departed from them, we had much sorrow, right? So literally, he's one of those people. That's that spirit returned back on the earth. And he's a leader. So he's persuading everybody in his church, literally, hey, we got to go make a covenant. We're going to make a covenant with these people. We got to glorify these people, worship these people. Hey, us, as Israelites, we don't give a damn about Juneteenth. We don't stand on that. But at the end of the day, to the common man who has not understanding, Juneteenth is a big deal. Hey, he say step on that, spit on that. That's nothing, right? But it feels white to do White History Month in July, right? Let me get one more and I'm going to pass it, right? Right? This is 2 Maccabees. And we brought this out last week. It still pertains to this very situation. 2 Maccabees. Let me get two more. I'm going to get 2 Maccabees and I'm going to get a precept in Sirach. 2 Maccabees, chapter 6. And I just want the account of what they wanted, what they told him, right? Verse 22. It says, that in doing so, he might be delivered from death, and for an old friendship with them find favor, right? So he's doing this to find favor with the so-called white man, the man who's his king. He's doing this because he wants to receive glory here. And the Lord says that there's nothing here. The Lord says what? Set not thy things on things where moths do corrupt and thieves do steal, but set thy affection on things in heaven, man. Roughly paraphrasing. Hey, if his mind was set up on heaven, let's just say he didn't have the understanding we have as Israelites, he would still be bringing out the precepts. And he would still be telling people to repent. And he still would be telling people to follow the Most High God, not damn create a month that's nowhere in the Bible. It's not in the Bible. That's how you know it has nothing to do with anything more than him wanting to be the king's friend and him wanting silver and gold, man. Like I said, he didn't open his mouth and say that. So it's speculation. But through the Spirit of the Lord, that's what I deduce, man. Right? And let me get another precept. And I'm going to pass it. Right? Sirach chapter 10, right? And verse 7. Verse 7, 9. Why is earth and ashes proud? There is not a more wicked thing than a covetous man. For such an one setteth his own soul to sale, because while he liveth, he cast away his bowels. That's literally what we're just seeing from this man, right? You got it, King.
God, and the cold part about everything is like, okay, put it like this: Stockholm syndrome all over again, right? Because nowadays, me personally, I didn't realize until I think the past few years, I don't know when they started it, that there's a such thing as a Hispanic Heritage Month, right? Which we say is our people, right? It's those are our people, right? Then when you got Black History Month in February, which has been a thing ever since I can remember, right? But he had to go on the limb and be like, yeah, the white man needs his month too. You know what I'm saying? And this is their country, right? Everything that we celebrate, they done already set up, right? That's why they feel like they can give us something like a Juneteenth. Like let's get them a Black History Month. Let's give them a Hispanic History Month. Let's get them, Juneteenth or whatever. Let's let's make Cinco de Mayo a thing, you know what I'm saying, for the Hispanics or whatever. You know what I'm saying? All the people that are oppressed, just to try to, give them a little rope and make them feel a little better, they'll give them something to try to celebrate, right? You know what I'm saying? Some people can even go so far. Well, I ain't even gonna go that far, right? But he felt like that they had to have a holiday, and he said it just feels white. That's what's crazy. Let's grab the definition for white, because this is ultimately what he's trying to say. Let me see. Let me find it. It's so many definitions. I'm gonna try to get to the point. Cause all right, so the basic one is like obviously the color. Then it starts trying to go to like people. But if I go down, it has other meanings and phrases, right? So white can mean purity or innocence. It says it often symbolizes purity, innocence, and perfection. You got a white flag, which would be like surrender, a signal of a peaceful surrender, right? You got a white lie, which they say would be a harmless falsehood. It says it is an untruth told out of politeness, right? Everything that they try to put with white is like minimized, you know what I'm saying, on a lower scale. Obviously, the opposite for black. Everything black, you know what I'm saying, is just terrible. But for the fact that this man to say that it just feels white because it's like, oh man, the weather and, relaxation and, like it, again, this goes back with what the brother brought out at the beginning, right? With this Stockholm syndrome. I don't understand it. Really ain't got no words for it, but it's like you'll turn your back on something that's, because look, this man, he ain't said it yet. I believe that's another clip, but if you came up on a plantation in Alabama, why is I mean, I get it, you do have those, what you call it, step and fetch it type individuals, but you got whatever the Samuel L. Jackson was on Django, whatever his character was, you do have people like that. But if you came up with that type of background, it would seem like you wouldn't be a founder of White History Month and trying to go above and beyond for these people who have, like, ultimately, look at your upbringing. This man is, I believe he's 75 or 76 years old right now. You know what I'm saying? You have that type of background, but you have this type of mindset, is madness. It doesn't make any sense. But I ain't got no precepts for it. I just had some stuff I had to say, bro. You got it.
Con, let's finish. Let's go back to the clip. Let's go back to the clip. So we just addressed the White History Month, and it feels white, right? and we got a little humor to it that we adding in here to go with the spirit, because this type of spirit is big in our community, man, and that's why so many comedians have made fun of this type of spirit, because there's a lot of our people that carry the spirit. That's why I was going into what I was going into at the very beginning of the class, showing how it's Stockholm syndrome, and how when you are void of the spirit out of the Most High God, how easy it is to be seduced by this, right? Because it is Stockholm syndrome, right?
Policing and Accountability Act. I'm going to attempt to have that policy discussion with you. Do you agree or disagree with the George Floyd Policing and Accountability Act?
I totally disagree, because as we all know, George Floyd was a black, unemployed drug addict with a criminal record. And I just
let's first of all, let's clear something up, sir. You really should be ashamed of yourself. You call yourself a Christian pastor. George Floyd is dead.
It's his fault.
He's dead because a cop killed him.
No, he's dead because he was a drug addict.
My question to you, and that's adverse to the evidence, by the way, what you just said. My question to you was about policy. So let me ask you, what in the policy of the George Floyd Policing Act do you disagree with?
The whole idea. Which
part of the policy, Jesse?
Blaming the cops and no responsibility
Jesse,
for the
I'm asking you, what part of the policy is written? You can find it at congress.gov. What part of the policy?
So I want to get a precept on what he just said real quick, right? Because he literally just said, you know, he don't agree with it because, you know what I'm saying, that he was, you know, a drug addict and he didn't have a job. And, all in all, right, this man's supposed to be a Christian pastor, right? And literally he's showing forth no mercy, right? He's showing forth not the inability of why Christ even came, right? To understand why Christ even came, which shows you, like I said, this man is not set up to be a Christian, right? He's set up to do exactly what he's doing. He's not set up to be a leader in any retrospect. I mean, not even in the Christian understanding that these lost Christians have. He's not even that. He's literally set up to do exactly what he's doing, right? Let me get this real quick. This is the book of Hebrews. I want to go to Hebrews chapter 5 and verse 7. Who in the days of his flesh, when he had offered up prayers and supplication with strong crying and tears unto him that was able to save him from death, and was heard, and that he feared, though he were a son, yet learned he obedience by the things which he suffered. And being made perfect, he became an author of eternal salvation unto all them that obey him, called of the Most High, a priest after the order of Melchizedek, of whom we have many things to say, and hard to be uttered, seeing ye are dull of hearing. For the time ye ought to be. No, that's not what that my point that I wanted was, that I was trying to get, was literally Yahushua, right, is made perfect to be the author of our eternal salvation, right? It has nothing to do with, you know, whether you can do this, whether you do that, right? It's literally about us repenting through the blood of Yahushua. And for him to speak like how he was speaking about George Floyd, because of his flaws, goes against Yahushua, right? And let's get Yahushua's words on that. Let's go to the book of Matthew. Right, let's go to St. Matthew. St. Matthew, I believe I want chapter 11. 11. Bear with me. Oh, that's not it. Bear with me. Bear with me. How did I forget this precept? I'm going to find it. Come on. This is a book of St. Matthew, chapter 12, right? In verse 30. It says, he that is not with me is against me, and he that gathereth not with me scattereth abroad. Wherefore I say unto you, all manner of sin and blasphemy shall be forgiven unto men, but blasphemy against the Holy Ghost shall not be forgiven, right? So every manner of sin, whether he was a drug dealer, whether he was a drug addict, whether he was, whatever he was, right? The Lord says that, hey, all manner of sin are forgiven, right? So how are you calling yourself a pastor, right? And you literally are destroying a man due to the fact of his faults. When Yahushua came for our faults, Yahushua said, they that are whole need not a physician, but they that are sick. So what is the purpose of there being a Christ if it's only about when we don't make mistakes? But yet and still, he's not leaning on a so-called white man. who manufactured those drugs. He's not leaning on a so-called white man who put those drugs in our communities. He's not leaning on a so-called white man who literally raped, robbed, murdered, and pillaged our people in every other nation. If in that retrospect, he would say that's why we have Christ. If you was to ask him that question about the so-called white man and his history and what he's done to our people and what he's done to all the people of the earth, he would say, well, as a Christian, we have to forgive them. But look at how he's leaning on George Floyd, right? And now this is showing you the man he probably never even read the act, but he's against it, because that's why the man is holding his feet to the fire. Well, I'm asking you about the act, not the man, right? But I just wanted to bring that out.
Policy, sir, do you disagree with? This is a simple question.
I disagree with the whole idea of a policy.
You haven't read the policy. You haven't even read the damn policy.
I don't need to read it. I don't need to read it to know the truth, because what I've noticed is that black people today, due to their lack of love, their lack of believing in God, they love evil more than they love good, right?
So that's the reason why you don't read.
And so
that's the reason why you don't read.
Right, because it was written by no good black people. And why should I waste my time knowing what they're about?
So we're going to read the policy, man. Like, hey, she said they don't love God. They lack a love of God, right? But he don't love his own people. Let me get that real fast. Let's go to 1 John, right? Let's go to 1 John. 1 John chapter 4. Right, in verse 20. If a man say, I love the Most High, and hateth his brother, he is a liar. For he that loveth not his brother from whom he hath seen, how can he love the Most High whom he have not seen? So all that talk about, they don't love, you don't love the Most High. They don't have a love of God. You don't have a love of God, right? Your God is the so-called white man, right? So anyway, the George Floyd Act. The George Floyd Justice in Policy Act is a proposed U.S. federal bill aimed at reforming police practices by increasing accountability and transparency. Key provisions include banning chokeholds and no-knock warrants, reforming qualified immunity to make it easier to prosecute police misconduct, and improving data collection on use of force. The bill was passed by the House of Representatives previous sessions, but has not become law, right? So literally, it's about transparency of the police and how they police people, man. Chiefly because of how they've been policing the so-called black man over the years. And I'm gonna let J Mike make a point, because I want to pull something up. I want to find it first.
Basically, I mean, he showed that he didn't read it. You know what I'm saying? He didn't do his due diligence to even know what he disagreed with. He just disagreed with the man in general. And ultimately, all these things that came up out of his mouth was things that he held on to that came from the media, right? When the media always is creating a bad image of our people, right? They try to throw these things out there to try to justify the murder, to lean more into the cops' favor, right? Oh, he was supposed to be on drugs and he was a drunk and he ain't had no, like all this type of stuff that doesn't matter at the end of the day, right? Just like a situation. It's an old video, and it ain't that old, but it's a video. It's a elder so-called black woman, right? And she been detained by the cop, and then he's being extra with her, and she just chilling. And then because she doesn't hearken to his commands, he goes ahead and finds a reason, because he stopped her for no reason. He busts out her tail light. He's like, well, now I got a reason or whatever. Come to find out she a judge. Then he like, oh, well, why didn't you just tell me that in the first place or whatever? Like they do with whatever they want, or to try to, like, it's ultimately just like a power thing. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't even know what to say about that. But like this, I got this real quick. What is it? Proverbs. I think it's 13. Let me see. Is it Proverbs 13? Let's see. Or is it 18? And this is obviously talking. It's Proverbs 18 and 13, right? But it's hidden there, but it's not really hidden all the way there to what just transpired. For this, it says, "He that answereth a matter before he heareth it, it is folly and shame unto him." This dude didn't even know what the policy was. He just sitting up there openly speaking about some stuff that he has no idea what's going on. You know what I'm saying? He said, "I don't have to read it," right? Just because he despised that man, and that shit, that Salaki, that stuff is off, right? Because if he's a person that cares about the so-called, I guess, I don't even know if he cares about equality of all people. He just like loves America so much, you know what I'm saying? Just love this country so much. But if you care about how things is run, what would be wrong with that policy if you actually did look at it, right? To where these people don't have the power to just do what the hell they want without any type of repercussions or anything like that. Like the brother said, it's more so about transparency rather than anything else. It really doesn't have anything directly to do with the man outside of how the police handle him. Some of those things, the way the police handle him, is put within that act, but it has nothing to do with the man. But yeah, you got it, King.
Con, let me pull this up. Just it's a little bit off script, but just because of the act that we're talking about, I just want to pull up one clip, and then I want to pull up another clip of a speech by Malcolm X showing, because this happened long before Malcolm X, just showing how long this has spanned of this type of behavior, right? Let me pull this clip up. This is officers, white officers, and this is a so-called black woman in Los Angeles.
¿Pero qué hizo? Mira. No. Hey.
Now you tell me, is that protocol for the police officers to punch a woman dead in her face 3 times? And if the other officers didn't stop the punching, it would have continued, right? This is what the act is about. Not allowing these type of things to happen. And again, there's things that are and have been way worse than that, right? Way worse than that. If I was to go through these clips, we would see things that would make you sick to your stomach, literally to your stomach. And you got the nerve to say this man is crazy, but this is what happens, right? Now let's listen to Malcolm X.
This is the bariatric gelatin bedtime recipe that took me from 198 to 147 in just weeks. It's natural, simple, has 0 side.
In order for you and me to devise some kind of method or strategy to offset some of the events or a repetition of the events that have taken place here in Los Angeles recently, we have to go to the root. We have to go to the cause. Dealing with the condition itself is not enough. And it is because of our effort toward getting straight to the root that people oftentimes think we're dealing in hate. We are oppressed. We are exploited. We are downtrodden. We are denied not only civil rights, but even human rights. So the only way we're going to get some of this oppression and exploitation away from us or aside from us is come together against the common enemy. Who taught you to hate the texture of your hair? Who taught you to hate the color of your skin to such extent that you bleach to get like the white man? Who taught you to hate the shape of your nose?
So, not to go too deep into the speech, right? But I wanted to pull that to show, this is in the time of Malcolm X. Malcolm X died in 1963, right? This was about 1961. Same police department as we just played the clip from, going into the mistreatment of the so-called black man by the hands of the so-called white man and their police force, right? And then further going into the fact of, hey, we should be coming together and unified against these things. And he said, hey, we got to figure out the root. All praise to the Most High God. Malcolm X didn't have the understanding we have now. All praise to the Most High God that he has given us the understanding of the root. He has given us the understanding of why these things happen. And he's given us the understanding of what we need to do in order to defeat these things. And a man like Jesse Lee Peterson, hey, he's the enemy. And he's working for the enemy and with the enemy, right? So it's very important to understand and identify these things. Because these spirits can, this can happen to any of us, lest we don't stay walking in the spirit of the Most High God. A lot of people will say, oh, that'll never be me. You don't know what kind of spirit the Lord will put on you if you're not walking in his love, if you're not walking in his commandments, and if you're not checking your spirit continually, he'll cast you out. And you could be damn sitting next to Jesse Lee Peterson, right? Speaking the same way and talk about, hey, yeah, I was part of that Israelite hate group in the past. I can't believe I was like that. It literally can happen to you. And like he said, hey, because we want to deal with the root, they call it hate, right? So now we're going to pull up another clip by this man, right? I want to go to this one. Yeah, we'll go to
crazy. You seen that? It's the Plantation Celebration Award. What?
Yeah, we go. Let's see what this one. Let's start with this one.
And notice this is not somebody that posted this self to try to bash him. This is this man's channel.
Yep.
That's his channel. He put that up there.
And you see how many subscribers he got? 702,000. And out of that 702,000, it's probably 400 or 500,000 that's so-called black people, which shows you, you know what I'm saying, like the how lost our people really are, right?
Speaking of black people, I'm glad you brought it up. I thought you would never ask. Have you noticed that most, not all, but most black people believe in socialism?
Who told you that?
Look, I know black people. I'm black. I know black people.
You black,
right?
But just on the outside, you are.
No, I'm white on the inside.
You are definitely an 85-year-old Caucasian.
All right, so it reminds me. We're gonna read the definition of socialism, but it reminds me of this guy. This is why comedians have made these type of.
I've listened to your black ass talk all day about how much you can't stand black folks.
Ain't two of them in the history of the world that's worth a squirrel for.
Oh, how much you love white folks?
Best thing the good Lord ever did for the planet Earth.
Ruckus, you black as ace of spades, man.
I don't see the need for you to go and insult the man after a game of checkers. We've been reminiscing all day, looking in each other's eyes, acting like we like each other. Now you got to go ahead and remind me of my ailment.
Ailment?
That's right. You heard of vitiligo? Shoot, well, I got re-vitiligo. Every year, my skin just seems to get blacker and darker and blacker and then more darker. It's the opposite of what Michael Jackson.
So just literally, this is years before Jesse Lee Peterson had got his platform. We have the Boondocks making a clip of somebody who believes exactly what Jesse Lee Peterson believes as well. Hey, look, without saying those words, hey, I'm really, a white man on the inside, right? It's just my skin on the outside is black, right? It's madness. But comedians make these jokes because we have so many people in our community who walk in this type of spirit, and it's because they have not the spirit of the Most High God. And the Lord has blinded them and deceived them into believing these things. Let me get a precept on that real quick. Let's go to the book of Job. And then we'll go to the definition of socialism. Since he said most black people believe in socialism, right? This is Job. And I'm really going to start at the top, right? Because it's very important to understand. I'm going to read down. Job chapter 12 and verse 2. No doubt, but ye are the people, and wisdom shall die with you. But I have understanding as well as you. I am not inferior to you. Yea, who knoweth not such things as these? I am as one of his neighbor. I am as one mocked of his neighbor, who calleth upon the Most High, and he answereth him. The just and upright man is laughed to scorn. right? I am as one who's mocked by his neighbor, right? This man mocks us, man. He mocks his people. For him to open his mouth and say, hey, most black people believe in socialism. Hey, a lot of the black people, they don't love God. That's why they love to say he's mocking his neighbor. But guess what? We're going to call upon the Lord as upright men, and he's going to answer us, right? He that is ready to slip with his feet is as a lamp despised in the thought of him that is at ease. The tabernacles of robbers prosper, and they that provoke the Most High are secure, into whose hand the Most High bringeth abundantly. But ask now the beasts, and they shall teach thee, and the fowls of the air, and they shall tell thee. Or speak to the earth, and it shall teach thee, and the fishes of the sea, and it shall declare unto thee. Who knoweth not all these, that the hand of the Most High has wrought this, in whose hand is the soul of every living thing, and the breath of all mankind? Doeth not the ear try words as the mouth tastes meat? With the ancient is wisdom, and the length of days and understanding. And with the wisdom and strength he have counsel and understanding. Behold, he breaketh down, and it cannot be built again. He shutteth up a man, and there can be no opening. The Lord can shut up your spirit, your understanding, and there is no opening. The Lord can literally take you from having the understanding you have right now, knowing who you are, knowing who your enemy is, knowing who your God is, and shut it up from you, and there is no opening. It cannot return unto you. This is why we have to continuously guard our spirit. This is why we have to continuously walk in repentance. This is why we got to continuously know who we are, because in any given moment, if the Lord deems you to be somebody that is no longer worthy of this understanding, you will be just like this man if the Lord deems it to be that way, or worse, right? Verse 15, behold, he withholdeth the waters, and they dry up. Also, he sendeth them out, and they overturn the earth, right? The waters of understanding, right? If the Lord withhold waters, it's going to dry up. You're not going to have no understanding. Or he can send them forth, and they can overturn the earth. He can give you wisdom abundantly, right? Verse 16, with him is the strength and wisdom, the deceived and the deceiver are his, right? The Lord, hey, both of them, man. The Lord is the one that orchestrates these things. This man has been set up to be deceived, and he is a deceiver. And any man that follows him as well as him, they are the Lord's, man. And the Lord has set him up and shut up his understanding, and those that follow him to be destroyed in the end, right? And we have to understand that and use these things to fear. It's all fun and games. It's cool to laugh at. You know what I'm saying? It's upsetting at the same time, but we have to use these things. Although we are using this, and it's we kind of laughing. Hey, this is to give our people warning of how we should be making sure that we're continuously checking our spirit, lest we become like this, man. Lest we become this way. Lest we become somebody that was once in the truth and we become a mocker. Right? Hey, Judas, man, I said it earlier. Judas walked with Yahweh and betrayed his Lord. The Lord put the spirit on Judas to betray the man, the most powerful man that walked the earth, who was walking the earth, healing, raising people from the dead, doing all these marvelous works. And the Lord blinded and shut up his eyes to the point where he rather partner with a thief, man. What do you think the Lord could do to you if your spirit ain't guarded? All right, let me get this definition. I'll let the brother get in there, right? Socialism is a political and economic system where the community or state owns and controls the means of production, such as industry, resources, instead of private individuals. It is based on the idea that collective ownership and control will lead to more equitable distribution of wealth and society with the greater social welfare, and emerged largely as a response to social and economic problems caused by industrialization. I don't know any black folk that wants all the industries to own everything. Nobody wants Amazon to own everything. No Jake wants Amazon to own everything, right? No Jake. Most Jakes, when I grew up, all of them wanted to go to school for business because they wanted to own their own business, not knowing you didn't need to go to school for business to own your own business. Most Jake want to privately own things, man. We're the complete opposite of that. But yet this man says most of us are social or believe in socialism, right? But you got a point, King?
So before the socialist situation, to add to what you were saying, like, he'll be the blind leading the blind, and anybody following these things is, You don't want the Lord to take the spirit away from you, right? That's what the brother was bringing out, and you don't want to be on the other side of the Lord. But the qualities that this man has shown thus far is literally a walking embodiment of damn near everything that the Lord hates, that he mentioned that he hates, right? You know what I'm saying? And anybody following suit, I mean, what do you think your end is going to be, right? Because it says Proverbs 6:16 says, these 6 things that the Lord hate, yes, 7 are an abomination unto him. A proud look. You can't tell me that this man ain't proud, right? Say a lying tongue. I mean, the brother just showed how he just lied with the socialism. He lied like he knew what was going on with the George Floyd Act, or he low-key lied on George Floyd himself. He just talked out of emotion and what, you know, his oppressor or the media gives him, rather than actually doing the diligent search, right? It says, and hands that shed innocent blood, a heart that devises wicked imaginations. He devises wicked imaginations against his own people. But we supposed to love our people, right? Whatchamacallit? A heart that devises wicked imaginations, feet that be swift running to mischief, a false witness that speaketh lies, which he did, and he that soweth discord among the brethren, right? And that's ultimately what he's doing. You know what I'm saying? If the majority of your following is our people, you know what I'm saying, that is following you into your church, because I imagine he got the other nations as much, like I said, step and fetches, stuff that he be saying and doing or whatever. It's like you're sowing this division when we're commanded as a people to love each other. Leviticus 19, like the brother brought out, 1 John, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's all over the place. But it's like if you are on that side of the fence, like I said, what you think is gonna happen? It said, you know, the Lord. Let me grab this real quick. It's one of my favorite ones. That's like that should put people in fear, right? 2 Ezra 16:11, right? It says, the Lord shall threaten, and who shall not utterly be beaten to powder at his presence. If you're on the wrong side of the Lord, you know what I'm saying, and you are embodying a bunch of things that he hates, you will be at that number, right? Now, as far as the socialism part, right? I mean, like you said, it's ultimately the opposite, right? We was creating our own communities, right? Tulsa, you know, and it's so many other ones that I can't even it's not at the forefront of my mind. But every time we did so, it'll be brought to naught. Like the brother brought up a clip of what's his called, Malcolm X earlier, right? The Muslims, one thing that they wanted, they wanted to be secluded from the rest of the nations, and they wanted their own state. I don't know why they thought that you know, these people would ever grant that. But again, the same thing. They wanted to own their own communities. They don't want a conglomerate or a big company to own it. So I don't know where he gets that logic from. You know what I'm saying? Still to this day, you got people talking about trying to rebuild up a Black Wall Street. You know what I'm saying? Not just in various places. They was talking about, as well as, you know, what you call it? I think they was trying to do it in Atlanta recently or whatever. You know, you got a bunch of people trying to, you know, come together and, you know, give us some neighborhoods, some businesses, our own little areas. Like, we've never had that mindset. So I don't know where that man get that from. But yeah, you got it, King.
Con, you see, we already running low on time, man. All right, let's get back to it.
Man, the credit score of 690.
That's right.
Yeah.
So let me ask, did you notice that black people believe, most, not all, believe in socialism?
Who told you that, though, Mr. Peace? Where'd you get these numbers from?
Affirmative action.
That's socialism?
Yes. Now they want more
That's
reparation.
socialism.
Listen, now they want more reparation. We've given them everything they've asked for.
Who is we?
We.
We want more we've never received any reparations. 1. 2, we have given them everything. That house nigga. We sit. You know what I'm saying? That's that house nigga, man.
The American people.
No, you just stood on the side of white people just there saying we.
We have. They wanted. Remember when they were begging for civil rights? Remember that?
What's wrong with you?
That boy said they was begging
civil
for
rights,
civil
right?
rights.
They were begging for bro. Let me get this real quick. Right? Let me get this. This is see, he has a position in this in America, and he's comfortable with his position, and he doesn't want his position threatened. Right? This is John chapter 11, right, in verse number 48, and it says, "If we let him thus alone, all men will believe on him, and no Romans shall come and take away both our place and nation." And one of them, named Caiaphas, being high priest, that same year said unto them, "Ye know nothing at all." Right? Hey, he literally has that spirit. He's literally concerned with losing, the position that he has in America. Right? And so because of that, he speaks this way. He is this way because he doesn't want to lose his position in America. America is everything to him because they've given him the life that he wants. And he doesn't care about his people. He just cares about his life, right? Let me get another precept, right? Let's go to the book of John, chapter 19, and verse. So the spirit, our people have this spirit on them. They've always had this spirit, right? In verse 12. And from thenceforth Pilate sought to release him, talking about Yahushua. But the Jews cried out, saying, "If thou let this man go, thou art not Caesar's friend. Whosoever maketh himself a king speaketh against Caesar." Right? And they kind of telling Pilate, "Hey, you better not let Yahushua go. If you let him go, you're not Caesar's friend." Right? And whoever make himself a king, which Yahushua didn't even do, right, speaketh against Caesar. Hey, you better not go against Caesar. Right? When Pilate therefore heard that saying, he brought Yahushua forth and sat down in the judgment seat in a place that is called the Pavement, but in the Hebrew, Gabbatha. And it was a preparation of Passover. And about the 6th hour, he said unto the Jews, "Behold your king." But they cried out, away with him, crucify him." Pilate said unto them, "Shall I crucify your king?" The chief priests answered, "We have no king but Caesar." Right? Hey, that the only king, the only God he believes in is the so-called white man, right? Because they have given him his corn and his flax and his wine. Let me get that in Hosea. Right? Let me get that in Hosea. Right? This is a spirit that's on our people, and it's been on our people. It's not a new spirit. He's just gone. The Lord has made him gone, right? I believe it's Hosea. What is it? Bear with me. I believe it was Hosea 4. Was it 2? Yeah, it's 2. Hosea 2 and Hosea 2 and verse 4. "And I will not have mercy upon her children, for they be the children of whoredoms. For their mother have played the harlot. She that conceived them have done shamefully. For she said to my Israel, I will go after my lovers that give me my bread and my water, my wool and my flax, mine oil and my drink." So he goes after his lovers, man. The so-called white man is his lover who gives him these things. That's why he speaks this way. We. Right? You got a point, King, before I play on? Because we have to wrap it up soon.
Real quick. It was just like, and I just brought this out last week, you know what I'm saying? But again, he would basically, because this man is a pastor for real, right? This man would basically be Alcimus in First Maccabees 7 that desires to be a high priest and speak ill of his people and to do whatever he can to take them down and run and be in cahoots with the oppressor or with the enemy, right? So I'm not gonna read. I'm gonna read 5 and 6, then I'm gonna jump down because I don't want to read exactly what I read last week. So First Maccabees 7 and 5. There came unto him all the wicked and ungodly men of Israel, having Alcimus, who was desirous to be high priest, for their captain. And they accused the people to the king, saying, Judas and his brethren have slain all thy friends and driven us out of our own land. Now let me jump down to 23, because this is basically after the battle ensued, right? Verse 23, it says, Now when Judas saw all the mischief that Alcimus and his company had done among the Israelites, even above the heathen, he went out into all the coasts of Judea round about and took vengeance of them that had revolted from him, so that they durst no more go forth into the country. On the other side, when Alcimus saw that Judas and his company had gotten the upper hand, and knew that he was not able to abide their force, he went again to the king and said all the worst of them that he could. This is this man, you know what I'm saying, spiritually, and in my mindset, like he is just siding with the enemy. He said, oh yeah, they asked for civil rights, and we talking about the American people. We gave them this, we gave them that, and he keep just talking down on black people, and even the fact that we already moved past that point, but that he was like, nah, you black on the outside, but you're not black. He was like, but I'm white on the inside. Bro, this is madness. Like they don't make coons like this no more. Like he is the prototype. But you got it, King.
I mean, we probably gonna have to, do a part 2. I'm gonna leave off with this. We'll definitely do a part 2 next week, most high willing, and probably get some more clips of a couple more people like this, to add onto it. I'm gonna leave it off with this.
Excuse me, not sure we're in the right place. We're looking for Clayton Bigsby.
Look no further, fella. You found me.
Clayton Bigsby, the author?
What, you don't think I can write them books? Just because I'm blind don't mean I'm dumb.
How could this have happened? A black white supremacist.
He was the only Negro we'd ever had around here. So we figured we'd make it easier on Clayton by just telling him and all the other blind kids that he was white.
And he never questioned it.
Why would he?
You've written 4 books now.
I've written 6 books. They published 4.
I noticed you referred to African Americans. What exactly is your problem?
How much time you got, buddy?
Excuse me.
All right, so like I said, we ended with a little humor, right? Because ultimately, that's the spirit. Like Dave Chappelle, the author of the Boondocks, writer of the Boondocks, they all have showed forth that our people carry the spirit. So watch your spirit, walk in the spirit of the Most High, be praying and fasting, continue to have humility that the Lord don't make you out to be one of these people. Most High willing, next week we'll continue this class. Love y'all until next time. Shah Shabbat, Shalom.
Shalom, family.
Yeah.